Hi, I'm Bonnie Lacy, BonnieLacy.com, and I'm reading to you. This is my 6th chapter from my book, Cash Envelopes. You've Never Had So Much Money, companion workbook, this one, and there's also the companion, I guess, the main book, actually. You've Never Had So Much Money. They're fun. Look at those covers. They're really fun. I have plans on doing a Kickstarter. If any of you are ever interested in following that, I'll let you know. If you ever want to be on my email newsletter list, go to my website, BonnieLacy.com, and scroll down and you'll see where to register, where to enter your email address, and you'll get a free book. It's the first book in my fiction series, okay? But that will get you started in my fiction, but also that will get you on the newsletters so that you can be alerted when the Kickstarter starts. Because I think the first Kickstarter I'm going to do on these books, because I'm writing a kids cash envelope book, but also a cash envelope or a cash system for authors, which I'm an author. So that would be helpful to me, right? Okay. I am reading from chapter 6, finishing up. I don't know if you are like this, but I enjoy reading how the idea of a book came about or what the author went through to write it. It's usually in the author notes in the back. In this case, I know many of you already know what's involved in setting up cash envelopes or something similar. But everyone is different. Every system is different. Thank you for checking out this one, mine. And thank you to my reader team. This book is short, but other books haven't been so short, and reading them takes a lot of time. Thank you to my editor, Kathy Tyers-Gillen. You are always willing. Please keep on teaching me. There is lots to learn. Thank you to my parents, who lived a frugal life as farmers, never knowing how the crop would turn out when the seed was dropped into the ground, but never losing faith in the one who is ever faithful. As always, thank you to my family, my dearly beloved, my kids, my grandkids. Thanks be to God. Ongoing change. It's not hard to set up cash envelopes, but sometimes just reading the steps is all we need to get started. It's not so daunting. Some tips in this book may seem juvenile to some readers, but remember that we all started somewhere. I had cooked minimally growing up, mostly beanie weenies, ask my sister. So when I got married, I gleaned a lot from my mom and from my mother-in-law, both good cooks. I started where I was at, and you can too with cash envelopes. Realizing benefits. There are so many obvious benefits to operating finances in the cash envelope system. One is more cash than you'll imagine. I know the subtitle for this section sounds hyped up, and it's also the title to the book, Cash Envelopes. You've Never Had So Much Money. But it's true. Once this system was in place, and I had been running for several months or more, I almost felt someone was planting cash in my envelope. But that's what it felt like. I felt like I always had the cash that I needed. Crazy, but it adds up fast, as long as I don't steal from them. Confidence, no fear. There is still a mild panic when I get a bill like car registration. Then I go to my envelope and there is the money, just waiting for the arrival of that bill. Often there is more than enough, which is my financial mantra. I have more than enough. Or, He is my shepherd. I shall not lack. There is peace. There is confidence in a system that has worked for several years now. There is no lasting fear when I pull a bill out of the mailbox. Power. There is power in this system. A budget never worked for us. Well, maybe for a while, but for some reason, using cash envelopes keeps our spending in line, and it's easy to stick to. It's not some obscure amount listed on a budget. It's hard cash. When it's gone, it's gone. It might not be for everyone, but it works for us, and I hope it works for you. Trust God, not envelopes. Every time I sit at my desk to fill the envelopes, I thank God for the cash and the income to be able to do what I do. Fill each envelope every week, anticipate savings, look forward to gifting grandkids, and not overspending at Christmas. I pray over the money, asking the Lord to bless and sanctify the cash to the use of our finances. And He does. Starting over? Well, not quite. Recently, we signed the mortgage, and this was a couple years ago, for a new house. A lot of money. During the whole process, fear rose up every time the lending institution asked for another document or proof of ownership or insurance. I remember years ago when we first moved to Omaha, excuse me, maybe 40 years ago, I didn't have a credit card. Everywhere I shopped, whether at Target, grocery stores, or fabric stores, they required a credit card to be able to write a check. I hated that. When it was my turn at the cashier to write the check, they'd request the credit card for ID purposes, and I didn't have one. We'd have to go into this long debate, holding up people in line behind me. Do you want me to shop here or not? I felt like I had some sort of power or worth over those big stores, and they would actually want my business. That I was so important to their bottom line. Money rules this earthly kingdom. Dearly beloved and I were just talking about that, how money is a big engine in medicine, driving, say, cancer treatment. Every industry seems driven by money. People are victims, and money is the thief. And sometimes money doesn't really have any worth, any meaning. It's just paper. It's just metal. It wasn't until I started to use the cash envelope system that I realized that we have emotions tied to that cash, those coins. When I used to be $30,000 in debt, the only time using a credit card made me emotional when it was maxed out. Anybody been there? And I worried when I handed my card to the cashier. Worried that it would be rejected in front of all those people in line behind me, to say nothing of the cashier. Before that, it was just a honeymoon of spending. When I can see myself throwing money, just throwing money, piles of money, right? When I bought groceries, if I knew I would pay with a credit card, I'd toss in a new shirt or a travel coffee mug. Ta-da! No problem. It was on the credit card. When I started using cash from my food envelope, at first there was fear. Did I have enough? Did I overspend? This was when I started adding up everything as I tossed it in my cart, so there wouldn't be any surprises at the register. And that's a good habit for you to get into, too. It's a little humbling when somebody sees you do that. It works. The subtle but powerful thing I noticed was that when I handed over the cash, there was almost a spiritual attachment to it as I dropped it into the cashier's hand. A grief, anxiety, a love? Would I ever get more? Was this all I'd ever have? Was there ever enough? I wanted more. Check yourself. Is there a difference in emotion when you pay by cash rather than credit card? Think about it. Next time you go to the store and you pay either way, cash or credit card, check yourself. I grew up very content. We always seemed to have enough. But my mom worked outside the home at a time when it wasn't popular for women to do that. She was a nurse, so I imagine she earned good money, but that was the trade-off. We never took vacations except to visit her family. Dad farmed, which wasn't always profitable. It provided a wonderful place to live. Don't get me wrong. In the country, wow, I never felt deprived. Although when I wanted to take ballet lessons, Mom explained that we couldn't afford it. That was okay. I had piano lessons and a little horse, a little Welsh breed that bucked me off on occasion. I had a tree house and a huge cottonwood tree. I had all the drawing paper I could ever want or need. But now that I've been on the cash envelope system, money does not rule my life. I rule the money. I plan where it goes. I spend out of the proper envelope and hardly ever rob from one envelope for another. We just built a big, beautiful home, right? Look behind me. and yes, signed our lives away, or so they say, but I have a knowing that we will be fine. I know my writing will provide me with a good living. I just know. Is that blind faith? Maybe. I just know. So I think that right now I am friends with money, never enemies. Because of the envelopes, I can say to dearly beloved, let's go to a movie. And there is the cash to do that, sometimes 2 or 3 times in one day. Or we have the money to eat out, not every night or every week, but there is freedom and joy in knowing I am not robbing from a pending bill to have that date night. So money, I do not love you, and I do not fear not having enough. That's it for today. God bless you guys. He is our shepherd. We will not lack.